Hello and welcome back to another Redbex training video. In this video we are going to deal with shape definitions for features and observations. We already have seen in a video before that both features and observations are able to hold spatial information, and so now we will see how this spatial information will be defined for the feature and the observations. First, I would like to show up some pages of our reference manual, so you will get some information which will be important to know. Therefore, let me just call up the first page I would like to show you. We already have seen in one of the other videos that features and observation, both of them are able to support spatial data. So if you look for features, you see in the chapter of features there is the feature data chapter, and there we see the different kinds of data which are stored in the definition of the feature, and we see here the spatial data section. So features are able to store spatial data, and the same goes for observations. So also the observations has a possibility, here it is, has a possibility to save spatial data. We already have learned too that it depends on the type of feature which spatial data support actually there exists for this one feature, for this special feature. So it could be possible that a feature doesn't support spatial data at all, so you don't have the possibility to save some location, some area, or basically some geometry for this feature type. There is possible that we have feature types which allow spatial data on the feature itself, so the feature can have a location but not the observations, and also there is spatial data support on the observation. So this means the observation itself does have a location, the feature does not. For a little example, for theoretical example here, we see that for example surface temperature is a typical feature type where it would be wise that the feature has a location, so the sensor actually has a location, but the observation, the temperature which is measured at a certain time, a certain point in time, does not have actually a location. If you think about here this sightings of deer in a national park or something, we have here the example of bear sightings, then actually we would have spatial support on observation, because the location actually is the observation, is one of the part of the data for the observation. So these three different types would be available on features. So the feature type is deciding which spatial support would be provided. One more page from our reference manual. This is a little outlook for another training video we will have in future. Of course, spatial support always has to deal with spatial systems, with reference systems, and we should keep in mind that spatial systems have to be defined before we can make use of spatial support. Defining geometries also always means that we have to define a spatial system before, which is used to interpret the spatial data. But this will be done in more detail in another video. So only so far that you might have also you would like to have a look in the spatial data section in our reference manual. Last but not least, I would like to bring up the chapter showing the different feature types, and you will see in our reference manual you have a list of all available feature types, and if you select one feature type, for example here I selected the groundwater level, you will see in the definition of the feature type that there is some allowance of spatial data, and so for all, and which geometries are allowed, only a point in this case. So the groundwater level only has the ability to save a point geometry as spatial data. If we look for a simple group feature type, then we will see the simple group feature type allows all geometries, so it's possible to assign a line, a point, or a polygon also for this feature type. Let's have a look to one more. 3D movement, for example. The allowed spatial data system spatial system is only the projected coordinate system, so I cannot put this feature on an axis position, for example, and I again have only the possibility to assign a point geometry to that feature of this type. So now I would say enough about our reference manual. Let's just go to our user interface of the Redbex system. I provided 3 different features for you so we can see how to assign a geometry to them. I have only the root view, and there we have 3 features: a crack meter at a certain building here in an address of UMO. Then I have a group feature which we had in another session already. This should represent a building on a certain address in this town, and then we have a feature type which should represent the weather information, the meteorological information for the town UMO. So let's one more thing we have to start before we could assign a geometry. We have to call up 2 different tools. The one would be a kind of a map we have to use to make set a specific point or a geometry, so we have something we could draw on, and therefore we use a presentation. This is also a little outlook to a future theme we will future topic we will work on. We just call up a map view. We will find the map view in the presentation ribbon on quite the right side. There is a button map view. Just open the map view, and then the map view has the possibility to be built up by different layers, and we will start with just adding, for example, the OpenStreetMap layer. Keep in mind, for Bing and Google Maps you will have to define a special key to be able to use them. OpenStreetMap does not need any key to be used, so I'd like to open the OpenStreetMap view. Then the system calls up the map, gets the map information out of the web, and we have to wait a little after I execute this map. Now the map definition for me is fine right this. I only need a map layer. So let's execute this map, and we will be provided with the map in short time. Pressing the shift key, you have the possibility to zoom in very quickly by just bringing up a little squared area. So I try to zoom quite up to the town of Umeå we are just taking as an example, and going a little closer. So here we are, one level more, and I would say this kind of is enough for now. This is my map I'm going to work on. The map toolbar gives me the possibility to bring up some tools to draw geometries. You will find this button in the tool map having this triangle symbol. If you open this button, if you click this button, you will see there's another toolbar giving you the possibility to draw a point, a line, a polygon, then a circle, etc. Different geometry forms, and then you have some edit buttons. You can delete them all and bring them to the feature, and also an arrow symbol to a cursor mode to select geometries you already have drawn. Now the next question is, how can we make the link between a special feature and a geometry? Therefore we need another tool also, which is to be found in the content ribbon bar. You will find it here. It's called the shape definition window, and if you just press the button, a new window will be opened. I put the shape definition window on the right side of my window side, so I can use it here. I see I have already some features there. I would like to remove them first, so I would like to show you from the scratch how to work with these two different tools. So the first step we are going to do is to select the feature we would like to assign a geometry to and just drag and drop it to the shape definition window. This now puts the focus to this feature, and I see in the first sight two little symbols in the line where the feature is being displayed in the shape definition window. And this tells me that this feature is able to be attached to a point geometry and also a line geometry. So this feature is of the type distance change. So a distance change could be a very small distance like we do it now. A crack meter is something which is just on a certain position. It is most likely to define a point as a geometry for this feature as we use it here, but it also could be a distance change, for example, of the wideness of a valley or some really big distance. So then it would be more likely to assign a geometry of a line to this feature. So to have a appropriate geometry to be able to assign this feature a geometry. So the next step, I could drag and draw multiple features to this shape definition window, and now I see the feature type of a simple group has the possibility to be assigned to points and also multi-points, so it's multiple points being seen by as only one geometry. The same goes with lines. It is possible to assign one or more than one lines, the so-called multi-line geometry, and the same also with the polygon. You can see these different types of geometry again in our reference manual. There is a section about geometries, and you will find a description of point, multi-point, and etc. So what is possible to be a line, multi-line definition, the polygon definitions, and also the multi-polygon. You can find it in the reference manual. So now I would try to set up a geometry for our crack meter. I select this feature, so this is highlighted right now, so this is the feature I am working on now, and then I see automatically this little toolbar here just offers me the possibility which are allowed for this crack meter. If I'm going to select the simple group feature, I see here this little toolbar now offers me to work with all features, with all geometries which are possible, because this feature has the possibility to be stored every feature which is allowed, which is possible. And again, if I going to select this meteorological situation feature type feature, I see only the point, the first one, is highlighted to be used. So going back to the crack meter, I decide the crack meter will get a point only. I select the point and set the point at the position I desire. Then I see now I have drawn a geometry, and as the system now does not know if I'm finished, I have to press another button, which is the rightmost button here, which means that the definition which actually now has drawn is finished and will be stored to the feature. So I see right now the shape is undefined for this feature here for my crack meter, and if I press this button, this define geometry button, the feature now has defined a shape. Next step is I'm going to position this weather feature, the meteorological situation. Again, I decide to make a point. I don't have any opportunities here because this feature type only allows me to assign a single point. So I select the point tool, set this feature to the airport site, because I assume here would be some meteorological sensor. And then I put this drawn geometry, the point, to the feature. Then the feature information here would change from shape undefined to, if I press it, shape defined. The last one is my little simple group, which I would like as a as a house. I'm going to zoom in more because I would like to use the same shape as the house has. So I'm going to make one more step, and the feature type is already selected. I have now every possibility of geometries which are possible to be drawn. I decide to draw the polygon, and now I will just use the geometry to redraw this house here. The last point is done by double clicking, and then now the feature is ready. I have now here the possibility to define the geometry for this feature again. Right now it's undefined. After pressing this define button, the feature now has defined a feature. But still it's not saved. We only have did the assignment of geometries to the feature. To really save the geometry, I have to press the save button here in my shape definition window, and after I did this, now actually the definition has been stored to the database. The shapes, the features I have drawn to this shape definition window will disappear because now these features already have are finished by defining a geometry. Now let's have a little look to the feature. By opening them in the feature editor. I will just open every feature we have just defined a geometry for, and the last one, the weather information, the meteorological situation. Then we see in the base data, as we just defined the spatial data for the feature, we now see that in the spatial data section of the base data of our feature, there is now an information about the geometry. We assigned a point to the feature crack meter, and we assigned an area to the simple group we used to represent our building. Now it's here represented by the well-known text format of a geometry. And last but not least, again, our meteorological situation has been assigned a point. And now if we would like to know how to interpret these values here, we have to look up again to our info bar of the feature editor. Then we see we are using the projected coordinate system WGS84, and this is the reference system we have to use to interpret the spatial data stored to this feature. Now again, as a little outlook to a future video, I would like to show you how to display the location of these features on a map. Therefore, I need a different layer, which is called the feature location layer. I find it here in the center of my the layer menu. And now here I have my layer which shows me feature locations. Then I have to define which features I would like to be displayed on my map. Therefore I need to use this binding area here, and I just drag the features I would like to be displayed in my map. I select this feature layer to be the zoom extent. This means the positions here will be zoomed by execution of this layer, and I define that at least I would like to have a distance of 1 kilometer. So I would like to see some details of the map. And now if I execute the map, let me just flip out this settings windows here, so we have more area for our map. We should have the possibility now to see here the weather feature by the airport. We have this crack meter here set up, and we have again our simple group feature for our house. And if we zoom in, we see here these two different features. Now I see I didn't position the crack meter right, because the crack meter is not in the same house as the house which is called. I again just put this feature to my shape definition window, call up the point to be defined, set the point somewhere here, assign it and save it. And now if I recall this map, but maybe I remove before the weather information, because this is something which is more far away, I should be now provided with a map showing me these two positions. As I defined 1000 meters of the wideness of the map, I don't see a very much detailed zoom, so I just go in something more, and now I see these features have some close location to each other. I go one step further and tell I would like the shape to be shown. So if I draw it again, I should also see now the shape of my simple group feature here I have drawn before, and the position of the crack meter. As always, at the end I again would like to introduce you and invite you to have a look to our reference manual, because this always gives you more information than would be possible in our video.